Oh my God. Oh my God. Look, we know like Nintendo Directs are kind of hit or miss and they're either like a 4 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10. Was this a 10 out of 10? Because like I made a bingo for the live reaction with what I thought were mostly safe bets. And it was apparently a terrible bingo sheet because none of the safe bets were there, but like all the long shot ones did because this was a banger Direct. So we got to talk about it. And look, I'm going to start with the stuff I don't super care about because I know a lot of other people really do, and that's the hardware upgrades. Because look, at the end of the day, it's a Nintendo console. I'm playing it for Nintendo games. I don't care what the like HDR settings are. That's not for me. I know a lot of people are really excited about it. And the fact that we get 4K 60 or 1080p 120 is crazy for the Nintendo Switch. I mean, look at the footage we got for the new Metroid Prime 4 game. That's crazy. And I get that the 4K 60 is only in docked, but the fact that you can get 1080p 60 or 720p 120 in handheld is insane. And speaking of insane, the mouse rumor was real. I doubted it so heavily because I feel like Nintendo just patent stuff in case one day in the future they want to look into it, and having the Joy-Cons function like mouse, I was like, yeah, no, that just seems like something they patented just in case, and maybe like 3 generations we'll see something similar. No, apparently the Joy-Cons are just electronic computer mice now, which is crazy. I will say, I don't see the appeal of this one, mostly because you need a Surface to use that. You understand? Like, you can't just do this anywhere. And the whole appeal of the Switch, to me anyway, is that you can play the Switch anywhere, on the bus, in class, at work on your break, or not on your break, if you're like me. Well, like I was, not when I do this, because now when I do this for a living, I can just do whatever. But anyway, to me, adding a feature for games that you can only play while sitting at a table with a smooth surface is a bit strange, but I'm not going to be upset about it. I'm never going to be upset about more and extra features. It's just weird to me. We did also finally learn what the C button was for. C apparently is for chat, and it's this like built-in Discord system that they've added. And it's cool. I'm excited to see more stuff like the Mario Party editions with the Nintendo Switch camera. It is cool, but at the same time, is anyone going to use this? Like, I'm not going to use this. I'm going to play a game and probably hop on Discord like I almost always do. But I admit it is useful, especially for games like that Mario Party edition that includes the camera in the actual gameplay. But speaking of games, we're here for games. Personally, who cares about the hardware? We are here for games. Look at this Mario Kart. I am saving most of my thoughts for a dedicated Mario Kart video after the Mario Kart Switch Direct, which comes out I think on the 17th, so the next video after that. But in the meantime, holy shit does this look good. Free roam is something I never thought I would have wanted in a Mario Kart game, but the idea of an open world Mario Kart where you can just drive around with friends sounds really fun, at least for a couple evenings. Not to mention all the characters that they've added. We, in just this trailer, see the Moo Moo Meadows cow, a crab, a bat, a Goomba, the penguins, a Pianta. Like, they just letting anybody in at this point. I think the whole restriction before is like, oh, well, we want them to be able to have hands and stuff. And for this one, they went, honestly, who cares? You don't got hands? I don't care. Sit in a car seat and your car will just go. And then, as if that wasn't hype enough, we get GameCube on Nintendo Switch Online. Granted, it's only on Switch 2, and I know they're going to use the excuse that we needed a more powerful console. That's bullshit. My phone can handle a GameCube emulator. You can run a GameCube emulator on the Switch 1, I almost guarantee you. Regardless, I'm just happy it's here at all. I've been asking for GameCube on the NSO ever since they added the NES. All I cared about was them adding GameCube, because like, GameCube is my favorite console for Nintendo. I think it is, just from the roster alone. Granted, that's probably nostalgia because that's when I was growing up, but like Wind Waker, Luigi's Mansion, Smash Melee, Double Dash, can you blame me? Not to mention weird games like Billy Hatcher, and I can finally play Wind Waker, Pokemon Coliseum, and Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness on my Switch. I am so happy. If that wasn't enough, then we literally got Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4. Granted, Chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, but an actual release date for June 5th. And we got an actual mention for Silksong and a 2025 release date. If somebody leaked this and said that Deltarune and Silksong were going to be in this Direct, I wouldn't have believed them because it's too good to be true. Deltarune is coming at the latest on launch with Switch, but when you check Toby Fox's Twitter, he announced on Twitter that Deltarune is going to be releasing cross-platform June 5th, 2025. So 2 months and we get Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4, which means I definitely have to play Chapter 2. I never got around to that. I guess keep an eye out on stream. Don't forget I stream 4 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday at 9 p.m. EST at twitch.tv/RyeToastYT. And then Silksong says 2025, and as excited as I am that Silksong got mentioned at all in this Direct, I'll believe it when I see it. We've gotten release dates for Silksong like 3 times now. I'm not going to believe it until Team Cherry themselves gives us a hard date, and even then, I'm not gonna believe a Silksong release date until I'm playing Silksong. Let's be super real here. The Direct even ended on a new Donkey Kong game, a 3D Donkey Kong game. And for those of you who don't realize how monumentous this is, the last time we got a 3D Donkey Kong game like this was DK64, a game for the Nintendo 64. There have been 1, 2, 3, 4 consoles since then, and if you include handhelds, it's like 2 more, and we still hadn't gotten a 3D Donkey Kong game until now, and I admit, it looks amazing. I will say, I'm a little overwhelmed by the whole destruct your whole environment thing because I feel like that makes it an excuse to not build as compelling platforming, but we haven't seen any of the game yet, so we'll find out when we find out. But I find often that like, oh, you can destroy everything means that there isn't as much dedicated care to good platforming levels, but we'll find out. It still looks amazing, and I have finally talked about everything I don't care that much about, and you heard how passionate I've been. Here's the real kicker. The thing I'm most excited for of this Direct is the thing we got the least amount of information for, and that's Kirby Air Riders. I'm going to play you a clip from the stream the night before when we made the bingo card. This one's the called shot. I'm putting it here so it doesn't ruin anything. This one is just for me because ain't no way, but how I would love Kirby's Air Ride too. Wait. Guys, is it Air Ride 2? No shot. I knew going into this, Air Ride's not going to be there, but like, it'd be cool. And I was going to mark it down if like, say they did GameCube on NSO and showed Kirby Air Ride. I'd be like, that counts, and I'd check it off. Never in my life, gun to my head, if you said, predict something you're 100% sure will eventually happen, I would never say Kirby Air Ride 2, or I guess as we now know, Kirby Air Riders. This trailer is for me specifically. Sakurai said, I don't care about what anybody else wants. I don't care about what I want to make. I need to make Riley happy. So I'm going to make Kirby Air Riders. I will be playing this day one, and it most likely will be my most played Switch game. Kirby Air Ride is by far one of my favorite GameCube games. Kirby is by far one of my favorite characters, and I love go-kart games. And this is like a weird open world racing Kirby game. It's amazing. A sequel will also be amazing. That's just a fact. And as hype as I am, we can't end this until we talk about prices. Now, part of this probably will be saved for the dedicated Mario Kart video because we'll know more after the Direct. But just on a surface level, in case you didn't know, the Nintendo website says Mario Kart World, the digital version, is going to be $80 USD. That's crazy. I've always said that I want shorter games with worse graphics for more money, and I'm not kidding. That applies to indie devs. This is Nintendo we're talking about. They don't need it that bad. But looking into it, I do have one point of explanation, I think. And this isn't me defending the price. That price is crazy. But I was looking at Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is a $60 game. And the Booster Course Pass, which adds 48 new tracks, is $25. And most of those quote-unquote new tracks are either ripped from Mario Kart Tour or are re-releases of older tracks. They're mostly retro tracks we've seen before. But even still, that's a game with 96 tracks that if you add the price together is $85. So if this Mario Kart World is $80, I hope at least that means we're getting the same if not more amount of racetracks. Am I saying that 90 racetracks in a game means the game is worth $80? Dog, I don't know. But that price tag does really hurt. Luckily, the Nintendo Switch 2 itself is $450, which I think is a fair price. The $500 bundle that gets you Mario Kart is probably the main way most people are going to buy Mario Kart. Because if it saves me $40 on a physical copy of Mario Kart, or I guess it's a digital copy, so if it saves me $30, that's still pretty good, but I don't know. Like I said, I want to wait for the Direct to see how many tracks are in this game to see if that's even close to worth it. I know that the Switch experience is already happening. That includes a demo of Mario Kart World, and there's reporting of how many characters and tracks are in there, but I want to hesitate before I take that as fact. Not because I think people are lying, but because I think that version of Mario Kart World is likely a limited demo, right? Like people said there's 89 characters and most of them are costumes. And while I do understand a lot of costumes are in this game, look at the character menu that IGN released. Does this look like a finished character menu? Like, be so for real with me. Look at the character menu for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Not only is it all on one page, but when you select a character that has alternate costumes, you select that character and then a smaller menu pops up. Something that has always happened with these kinds of games. Let's be honest, I know Nintendo is dumb sometimes, but do you really think that a game with a much smaller roster has this good of a menu where it's all displayed here, and then for a game with an incredibly large roster, they decide, I know, we'll only display 16 characters at a time, and you have to page through like 8 windows to find the character you want, and we won't sort them in any way. So you'll have Mario here, and then 8 pages later, you'll have Mario with a sombrero. Like, do we really think that's what the final game is going to look like? So again, I'm going to hold judgment until we see that direct and the game itself. I'm hopeful that there is like 50 to 60 characters, but it's a menu like this, where you click on it and they have alternate costumes. Frankly, I wouldn't doubt if Goomba is one racer and all those other like bat and crab enemy racers are costumes for Goomba. But yeah, this was a hell of a Nintendo Direct, and I am so excited for the Switch 2 now. You know, the day one we will be playing it, streaming it, and making content about it. So make sure you like and subscribe because it supports this channel, and I'm gonna have to spend like $500 to get this Switch 2 Mario Kart bundle, and that's really goddamn expensive, and I don't really want to, especially in this economy. That's even before tariffs might affect it, who knows? But in the meantime, if you like this content, don't worry. Like I said, scripted videos aren't going anywhere. I just needed a break to catch up on backlog stuff, but if you wanted gameplay videos, you can go check out this one that YouTube thinks you like. And until next time, as always, you've been watching RyeTwost. Of all the YouTube channels, it's the second one. Stay toasty, slices.